We are live. We are live. Welcome to college football's Peek Around the Corner with your host, Greg Pflugar. We cover everything in college football because we love everything in college football. And if you do as well, please subscribe to the channel. Smash the like button. Ring the notification bell. Share the video. If you want to support this college football national independent rebel outpost, and it definitely is Army of 24. It definitely is. If you want to support our program with a donation, help us keep the lights on and grow the channel, just hit that $sign where you make your comment, and I will get to your super chat as quick as I possibly can. Welcome everybody into the studio that sits on the corner, the very corner of Keith Jackson Parkway and Kurt Gowdy Avenue. Do not be afraid. Do not be afraid to become a legend with your comments and with your phone calls. No decision was made, of course. We knew that. We knew that. I kind of wanted to know the direction in which we were flowing, which we were going, right? And of course, it's I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to talk about it. We already talked about it. We already gave you all the peek around the corner. We already gave you guys the peek around the corner on this a couple of weeks ago. I'm afraid to say it. I'm afraid to say it. I'm afraid to say it. If the Southeastern Conference acquiesces to a college football playoff of 24 teams, they're going to get something out of it, ladies and gentlemen. They're going to have to get something out of it. And I think that is where we are heading. Welcome to this live show, dramatic live show on April 22nd. And tomorrow, yours truly becomes a little bit wiser because he completes his 58th trip around the sun. No more Greg the Cooler. No more Greg the Cooler. It is all Greg the Gold in 2026. Welcome on in, everybody. We've got a stack show. Again, we're going to give you the CFP playoff update. That's the major topic of tonight's conversation. We're also going to be talking about a little bit about how Fox is taking over the conference championship game, the Big Ten's conference championship game from NBC, and NBC did not have a choice in the matter. We're going to talk about that. We are going to give you our I Do Declare updates. Our I Do Declare updates. We've got 3 new I Do Declare predictions from the PATC Einsteins that are in the book. Again, we're going to continue our Spotlight series. Tonight, the Houston Cougars. Willie Fritz and the Houston Cougars. Again, I got them at number 4 in the Big 12. Should I have them a little bit higher? Utah? Should I have them a little bit higher? BYU? Should I have the Houston Cougars knocking on the door to the Big 12 championship game against the Texas Tech Red Raiders? Or should I have the Houston Cougars a little bit lower than number 4, behind Kansas State, behind Oklahoma State? I don't know. I'm pretty optimistic about the Houston Cougars going into the 2026 season. And again, if you missed it, our Spotlight series, tonight is the Houston Cougars. Last night on 4/21, April 21st, it was the Cincinnati Bearcats. On April 20th, we did the Spotlight series on the Auburn Tigers. On April 17th, we did the Spotlight on the Baylor Bears. On April 16th, we did the Spotlight on Kenny Minchie and the Kentucky Wildcats. On April 15th, we did the Spotlight on Mason McKenzie coming from Savannah State. We did the Spotlight on the Boston College Eagles. On April 14th, we did the Spotlight on the USC Fight On Trojans. And on April 13th, we did the Spotlight on the Miami Hurricanes. So tonight is already our 8th team. We've just begun, but it's already our 8th team we're putting under the PATC Spotlight. And then we're going to talk a little bit about the Kalen DeBoer extension at Alabama. Alabama's all in on Kalen DeBoer. And it sounds like this extension, basically it got done during the Michigan Wolverines' flirtation with Kalen DeBoer. So Alabama felt that they had to get up to the table and put out some more cash. And the buyout, Alabama's not getting anything in the buyout. They're not getting a discount on the buyout if they have to fire Kalen DeBoer without cause. So we'll get into all that as well. Again, we've got a stack show, an absolute big-time stack show. And we've got ourselves our first super chat. Bruce Harris is being kind here. He's being nice to the fat guy from Minnesota. Holy smokes. Congratulations to the Lady Gophers on their 4th place finish in the NCAA's Women's Gymnastics National Championship. But there's only one Boomer Sooner, back-to-back national champions for the Lady Sooners. Congratulations to the Sooners. I've already given you my congratulations. I'll give it to you again. Congratulations to the Oklahoma Sooners, the LSU Tigers, and the Florida Gators. Top 3 teams in the nation, and the Sooners take it all once again. First time the Lady Gophers, the Minnesota Golden Gophers, got to the Final Four in women's gymnastics, and they were not supposed to get there this year. Just like every other year. But somehow that 19th seed Gophers kept sneaking, kept advancing, and they made it to the Final Four. Lady Gophers, congratulations. Thank you for the $5 holler, Bruce Harris. I appreciate your generosity, and I appreciate the kind words. Even though, let's be honest, Boomer Sooner Harris, this was a way for you to congratulate your own Sooners. And to put that out there. But again, thank you so very much for your $5 holler, for your generosity. I very much appreciate it. Very much appreciate it. And we've got Helmer Hennison, super chat. Helmer Hennison, does Penn State stack up talent-wise the last year's team? Great question, and I do not know the answer. I'm guessing no. But again, I haven't done the spotlight on the Penn State Nittany Lions. Maybe we'll do that tomorrow. Maybe we'll put the spotlight on the Penn State Nittany Lions tomorrow. I'll think about it. I'm breaking down another team, but maybe I'll switch over to Penn State. I do not know the answer to that question. If I had to guess what I am going to guess later on, I would guess no. But, I mean, they did bring in some, obviously they brought the Iowa State very good Cyclone teams into the mix. So, I don't know, Helmer Hennison. We'll do the breakdown of the Penn State Nittany Lions, but my guess is no. But that doesn't mean they can't have a great season. That doesn't mean they can't get to the playoffs. Tom Fernelli says that Penn State, I think he said they're going to go 9-3 or something to that effect, but they might not win a game against a team above 500. Who knows? Penn State's got a shot to the playoffs. I've got them coming in 6th place in the Big Ten this year. But I might change my mind come August. I might change my mind. Thank you so much for the $2 holler. Thank you, Helmer Hennison. Appreciate you so very much. All your donations, all your support. Thank you very kindly. Appreciate it. Coy comes in here. Coy is in the house. And it's pretty obvious he's in the house. Holy smokes. Did you see the reports that Ted Kater would sneak his mistress into the secret garage to go to his office? I did not hear that report, Coy. I did not hear that report. Now, my first question when I read that is, why does the president of the Ohio State University have a secret garage? Is this a secret bunker? is this a secret benefit that the Ohio State presidents get? There's only been so many of them in the lifetime of the university. Why is there a secret garage? Is there a secret elevator connected to the garage? Is there a secret key? Is there a secret parking spot? Is there two parking spots? The one that everybody knows, but the one that nobody knows? This super chat has brought out a whole bunch of more questions that I have about the Ohio. What other secrets do Moen and the Buckeyes have in Columbus, Ohio? That's the question that I've got. Thank you for the $5 holla, Corey. I haven't heard anything about it. Thank you so much for your generosity. I appreciate it, sir. Thank you so very much. Memphis Dave, first of all, Memphis Dave, thank you for coming on in. I appreciate it. I appreciate you coming in the studio. And I am incredibly thankful for the 5 gifted memberships. Holy smokes. One to Humble Bumble Duck, Jensen Roberts, S. McTox, 5022 Freedom, and Shadow MSU. My goodness, thank you for the generosity, Memphis Dave. I appreciate it very much. All of you, each and every one of you, and again, Memphis Dave, all of you are knighted. Cloak and Dagger. Go to our library of episodes. You can watch all the episodes, including early Pete Cloak and Dagger episodes for members only, which I think we're going to have one coming out either tomorrow morning or the next day. We haven't had one come out lately, but there is something we got to talk about. So we're going to be having a members only episode coming out soon, in the next 48 hours. There was an episode for everybody to watch. I think it's for episode 487. Yeah, 487, about the coaches flocking to an expanded college football playoffs. Go watch that. If you haven't yet, if you got time later tonight, go watch that episode. Thank you, Memphis Dave. And for Humble Bumble Duck, Jansen Roberts, Esmond Talks, 5022 Freedom, and Shadow MSU, when you have an opportunity, please say thank you to Memphis Dave for his incredible generosity, handing out gift memberships. Holy smokes. Thank you so very kindly. Memphis Dave, thank you so very kindly. And we got Buckeye Greg. Buckeye Greg membership once again. You are knighted for the 29th month in a row. Buckeye Greg, good evening, everyone. Thank you for everything you do, Greg. Looking forward to the season. As always, go Buckeyes. See? Buckeye Greg is not afraid. He's not afraid that I got the Buckeyes winning the Big Ten, winning the national championship. He's not afraid. He knows that Greg the Cooler is never going to appear again. Buckeye Greg is confident in this. And so am I. And so am I. Thank you, Buckeye Greg. We've got a massive super chat. Holy smokes. Massive super chat. That is not what I wanted to do there. That is not what I wanted to do. Massive super chat. OBD Dunn, thank you for the $25 holla. Holy smokes, OBD Dunn. Okay, what does a Yeti, a Bigfoot, a UFO, a Halley's Comet, and Greg the Gold have in common? They've never been seen. They're all things one would like to see in one's lifetime. And happy early birthday, sir. Thank you, OPD Don. Very much appreciate it. Aww. Thank you, sir. I appreciate your incredible generosity And I appreciate you being in the chat room and all your creativityness and your support for the purple and gold LSU Tigers. Thank you so very much. Thank you, Opie. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it. And we've got Amazing Blue. Amazing Blue. We're gonna do the I Do Declare updates. And you are booked in there. You are officially booked in there. Look out. Look out. $2 holler. Thank you for the $2 holler. I appreciate it so very much. Amazing Blue. 2 things I know. Michigan plays big boy football. Big boy football. And Greg will always be the coolest cooler out there. Not in 26. Not in 26, Amazing Blue. Not in 26. Thank you for the $5 holler, Amazing Blue. I appreciate it very, very, very much. Charlie Atwood, thank you for your generosity once again, sir. Thank you very much, sir. Super chat, $2 holler. $2 holler. Daniel Gorby, welcome to Early Peak Cloak and Dagger, a new member. Daniel Gorby, I'm sure you've been a member before, but I know some people lose their membership. Thank you very much. You are officially knighted Cloak and Dagger, Daniel Gorby. Daniel Gorby, I appreciate it. Okay. Thank you, Daniel Gorby. I always appreciate you, sir. I always appreciate you. Charlie Atwood's $2 holler was an I do declare. I do declare Penn State will have more wins than Virginia Tech. Does that qualify? There has to be some boldness to the prediction for myself to give 1 point. Evaluation of 1. Else people would be just flooding. I can't give that to you, Charlie Atwood. I can't give that to you. It's not bold enough. But if you come in with another one, you don't have to give me another super chat. Put down another one. Say that Penn State is going to win at least 9 games, or 8. Say something like that, and I'll give you I'll book it in. Yeah, it's too easy. Yeah, it has to be some level of boldness just to get to a valuation of 1 point. It can't be a chalk statement. But anyways, I appreciate it, Charlie Atwood. I appreciate it very much. Dave B. My goodness. Now this does qualify. This does qualify. Very interesting. I do declare Superman wins the 2026 Heisman Trophy. For those who are new to the program, PATC has named Bear Bachmeyer as Superman and Malachi Tony as Spider-Man. Until they're done with their careers, that is who they are. And when they're done with their careers, we'll name another different Superman and another Spider-Man. And that's how we do it here at Peek Around the Corner. Bear Bachmeyer is Superman. And Dave B is declaring, thank you for the $2 holler. Appreciate it, Dave B. I got to give that evaluation a 4 or a 5. Correct? Am I disrespecting Bear Bachmeier? Should it be a 3? I will think about it. Dave B, thank you so very much. I appreciate your generosity. Your declares will be booked. We've got Buckeye Greg with an I do declare. We will get to our program, but we have a lot of fun doing this. This is all about having fun, ladies and gentlemen. And this is all about crowning a I do declare world champion with your college football predictions, the PATC Einsteins. It's also about giving your hard-earned money, your love and support to the Special Olympics of Minnesota. That's what this is about as well. But we can have fun doing it. I do declare Minnesota will win both the pig and the axe this year. Holy smokes. Thank you for the $5 holler. And since Minnesota has not won the pig and the axe in the same year for a long time, we're going to have to give that valuation of a 4. We can't give it a 5 because, let's be honest, the Gophers are going to be favored against the Badgers. The Gophers are going to beat the Badgers. But also, let's be honest, the Hawkeyes are going to run the Gophers out of the gym. We will give that valuation of a 4. We're going to give it a 4. Thank you, Buckeye Greg. I very much appreciate it. Very much appreciate it. Helmer Hennison, $2 holla. Why do you have Ohio State doing better than Oregon? Great question, because Oregon is absolutely stacked. A phenomenal team this year. They're going to win almost every single one of their games. They're going to rout every one of their opponents. This is how well I've got the Buckeye. This is how well I've got the Oregon Ducks. I got them coming in second in the Big Ten. And I've got them losing to the Buckeyes in the semifinal game. Now, why do I have, and I've said this, but again, I'll say it many times, why do I have the Buckeyes over Oregon and the Longhorns? Couple of reasons. But one mainly is Jeremiah Smith. This is year 3. This is his last year in the big games. They're going to go to him. And he's going to get the calls. He's going to make the brilliant plays. Julian Sainz, second full year as a starter. Look what he did as his first year starter. Look what he did. Look at the completion percentage. They're going to run him more. The Buckeyes offense is going to be better. Look at Bo Jackson, who wasn't supposed to do what he did last year. He's going to explode this year. Absolutely explode this year. And I'm a little worried about the Ducks, the Oregon Ducks. Besides that great defensive back they got, I'm not talking about Corey. We'll talk about it during the Oregon Ducks spotlight. But I'm a little worried about the back end of the Oregon Ducks defense. Look, relax. Everybody relax. I think Oregon's going to be phenomenal. I think they're going to be the 3rd or 4th best team in the nation. Oregon and Miami can win it all. The Hurricanes can win it all. The Ducks can win it all. but I've got the edge going to the Buckeyes. And that's hard for me to say. Because me and the Buckeyes, we do not get along. We do not get along. The Buckeyes are almost as evil as the Iowa Hawkeyes and the Wisconsin Badgers. Not quite, but they're getting there. They're absolutely getting there. Thank you for the $2 Holler Hammer Henderson. Thank you so very much. We've got a $2, not an I do declare, but not an official one, but Christopher Hooter, I do declare in the NIL era. Who knows? Who absolutely knows? Well, you know what, Christopher Hooter? You know what I like about this I do declare? There's going to be an I do declare standings during the season. That's also going to get updated because some of these are going to be correct. Some of these are going to be wrong during the season. And we're going to have a standing. And some of you PATC Einsteins are going to be plus 12, plus 15, plus 18. And some of you PATC Einsteins are going to be minus 10, minus 12, minus 26. And you can suffer the consequences of your I do declares, just like I've been suffering my bad predictions against the spread over the last 4 years. So, I'm not going to be the only one crying during the football season. A lot of you, maybe all of you are going to join me in the tears. All right? All right. Evil Badger, I have a major update. Let us know, Evil Badger. Hopefully it's a good one. Praying for you, sir. Praying for you, Ryan Willie. Let us know. 1 point for Bear, very obvious choice. It's going to be a 3 or 4. It can't be a 5. It's got to be a 3 or 4. I'm leaning 4. We'll see, baby. We'll figure it out. We will figure it out. Ooh. And we've got an OP cheeseburger. OBD done. I do declare that Greg wants to eat a cheeseburger again, and that should be worth a negative minus 10. OBD done. I cannot book this in. This is not college football prediction. And if I book this in, OBD done, you would be minus 5 points automatically. You would be in last place right now. I'm not going to do that to you. I do appreciate the $10 holler. I appreciate your incredible generosity. But I don't want to subject you to an angry judge of I do declares. I do not want to eat a cheeseburger. That's never going to happen. Hopefully it never happens again at PATC. Thank you, OPD Don. Thank you for your generosity. Thank you, very kind, sir. I'm not going to officially book that because I'm not a college football player. Although I should be one. MBM. Holy smokes. Wow. I do declare the Special Olympics is an excellent organization. Stillwater, Oklahoma State hosts every year down here in God's country. It's truly a selfless humanitarian organization. Thanks for what you do. His royal coldness. I thank you, MBM. Thank you for the very kind words on the Special Olympics. Again, I have a connection to it. When we do cut the check, when we do donate to Minnesota Special Olympics, it's going to be in the name of Michael King, a cousin of mine who passed away years ago. Down syndrome. Michael King was my cousin. My aunt Irene, who's still with us at age of 91. Irene King, the Irish lady who's the sister of my mother, who's 93, in Chicago. Michael King, I grew up with Michael King, and he passed away he's a little bit older than I am. I would say 4 or 5 years older, and he passed away at age 48, 49, something like that. So it's an honor of him and an honor of the organization, Minnesota Special Olympics. I was an umpire at a softball game at the Special Olympics one year. I was like the one umpire in that whole game. So I was behind the plate. I was running around, calling outs and safes at first and second and third, trying to determine what was going on in the outfield, trying to get the people to run at the Special Olympic athletes to run at the correct base. And it was a lot of fun. It was a blast. Thank you, MBM. Thank you very much. Absolutely. MBM is awesome. MBM is awesome. Thank you, sir. Thank you, very kind. Thank you, very kind. And here's Mullen After Dark trying to bait me in. Trying to bait me in. Trying to bait me in. It's not going to work. $2 holler. Greg is so cold. His blood type is O negative 50. That is absolutely ridiculous. That is absolutely ridiculous. That is not true. It is not true at all. Thank you, MBM. Thank you for the massive super chat and everybody else. We're going to get on to our show. In the other super chats, we will get to them. The I Do Declares, if there's any more that comes in, we're going to get to them later on in the program, and we're going to go through them one at a time, the ones that come in after I'm saying this, all right? But I do appreciate all the super chats, all the I Do Declares, especially the I Do Declares. Keep bringing them up, keep bringing them in, but I'm not going to go to each and every one of them until later in the show. Edward the Auburn Tiger, thanks for coming on in. I appreciate it. We did an Auburn Spotlight on April 20th. So, Edward, if you missed it, go back and take a look at it. We talked about Xavier Atkins, the all-SEC dominant linebacker. We talked about the quarterback. We talked about all those South Florida Bowl players that the Auburn Tigers have got, that wide receiver Singleton, Davenport the running back, Byron Brown the quarterback, and of course you bring back Jeremiah Cobb, pretty good running back for the Auburn Tigers. We talked about the Auburn Tigers. Go watch it, Edward the Auburn Tiger, if you missed it. Talking about the I Do Declares. We've been over the 1 through 6. The I Do Declares that came on in. And the 7 through 12. And 13, 14, 15, and 16, and 17, I believe. Number 18, Fickell will return to Cincinnati, fired by Wisconsin before the championship game is over. John Grove, 5, that's a valuation of 5 points. Because a bunch of things have to happen. Fickell's got to get fired. He's got to get fired early. And then Cincinnati's got to fire their coach. And then Fickell has to be hired by Cincinnati before the end of the championship game for Grove to get the points. So we got to put a valuation of 5. Number 19, the Big Ten will get 5 teams in the college football playoffs. The Michigan Wolverine Amazing Blue. You get a 5-point valuation on that because it hasn't happened. It hasn't even been close to happening in a 12-team playoffs. So we're going to give it a valuation of 5 points. And the 20th one that came on in officially yesterday in our live show, the American champ, will make the college football playoffs. Maynard gets 4 points, valuation of 4 points on that. Historically, it would be a 2, maybe a 3. But I think the American champ, I think it's a little bit of the underdog coming out of the G6 this year. Just my opinion. I'm going to give Maynard a lot of points on that if he gets it right. A valuation of 4 points. Okay, so that is your I Do Declare update. On the next live show, we are going to have more of the I Do Declares that are coming on in tonight. We are going to insert them in the slides, and they will be officially booked in. All right. Now, let's do the Houston Cougars spotlight before we get on to the bigger stories of today. You know I love Connor Wigman. You know I loved him in the high school. His high school tape, the kid has got an arm. And he can run. What happened at Connor Wigman at Texas A&M, he got nicked up. The Houston Cougars, he had a very good season last year. 2,700 yards passing, 25 touchdowns, 9 interceptions, 65.2 completion percentage, 147.1 quarterback rating, 700 yards rushing. 700 yards. 4.1 average. Again, sack yards go against Connor Wigman. 700 yards rushing. 11 rushing touchdowns. Connor Wigman was very good last year. The big reason why the Houston Cougars had that big emergence last year. Him and another guy that we're going to get to here in a moment. Connor Wigman, ready for 2026. Willie Fritz, the Houston Cougars are going to cause a lot of people a lot of problems, especially if Willie Fritz can get this man going like he got him going at Tulane. Mekhi Hughes comes back to Willie Fritz. Mekhi Hughes was sensational at Tulane. Oregon, he barely played. But the 2 years prior, when he played at Tulane, 2,800 yards, 5.3 yards per rush, 22 rushing touchdowns. Mekhi Hughes with Willie Fritz back again in Houston, Texas. With Connor Wigman, my goodness. Big 12, buckle up. Big 12, buckle up. I ain't saying, but I'm saying Big 12, buckle up. Amari Thomas. Sensational. And he's coming back to Houston. I knew people last year that think, no, he's not coming back. He's too good. He's committed to Houston. He's committed to Willie Fritz. And he's committed to Connor Wigman. Amari Thomas was one of the better receivers in the Big 12. 67 receptions, 966 yards receiving, 14.4 average per reception, 12 receiving touchdowns. Are you kidding me? Amari Thomas, Mekhi Hughes, if they get him going again, and Connor Wigman, but that's not all. You see, Amari Thomas is going to have a guy, well, he's going to have a help. He's going to have help. He's going to have that old slot. Trent Waka, the transfer from the Oregon State Beavers, 68 receptions, 823 yards receiving, 12.1 average per reception, 2 receiving touchdowns. The year before, in 2024, Trent Walker had 81 receptions, for the Oregon State Beavers. I mean, this guy's had 149 receptions in the last 2 years. 149 receptions. And now he's standing alongside Amari Thomas. And they've got Mekhi Hughes in the backfield. And they've got Connie Wegman as the quarterback. Yeah. Look. PATC Einstein's out there. Look, I'm high on the Oklahoma State Cowboys. I'm pretty high on the Wildcats, especially with that schedule. And, of course, Utah, BYU, and the Red Raiders. But Houston's got to be up there. If you don't have Houston in the top 6, look, I've had a couple of cans of Apple Busch Light beer here in the last couple of days. I don't know what you're drinking if you don't have Houston in the top 6. I don't know what you're doing. I don't know what you're doing. And just a couple of days ago, Willie Fritz said, this man, Kentrell Webb, is the leader on the defense, the leader in the secondary. 51 solo tackles last year, 71 combination, 1 interception. During spring camp, Willie Fritz said, this guy is our leader, Kentrell Webb. And Houston defense was pretty good last year. And if they're as good as this year as they were last year with that offensive lineup, now let's take a look at the schedule. Because the schedule is a little bit challenging. You see, they do not avoid the Red Raiders. They play at Lubbock. They do not avoid Utah. They play at Utah. You understand what I'm saying here? They do not avoid playing Kansas State. They play at Kansas State. That road schedule is a little bit daunting. Of all the road schedules that they could have received in 2026 in Big 12 conference play, they got a challenging one. They begin the season with versus Trent Walker's old team, Oregon State. The first Big 12 game is at Texas Tech. UCF at home, Kansas State on the road, Oklahoma State at home, Utah on the road, Cincinnati at home, Colorado on the road. They go to Morgantown, West Virginia, and end the season in a Texas battle, Baylor and Houston. So that is your Houston Cougars spotlight. And you all know that I like them. I got them number 4. That schedule, again, they play at Utah, at Texas Tech, at Kansas State. For that reason, I could not put Houston in the top 3. I couldn't do it. I could not do it. I wanted to do it, but I cannot wait to watch the Houston Cougars during the Big 12 conference play. I cannot wait. I love college football. So that is your Houston Cougars PATC spotlight on a very good football team. And they've got Willie Fritz, and everybody in Houston is believing in Willie Fritz, especially and more importantly, the high school teams in the big city of Houston. The Houston Cougars are going to be causing a lot of problems in the years ahead. Now let's get to this story that has been going around for a while. Brett McMurphy on 3. Fox officially buys back the 2026 Big Ten title game from NBC. Fox officially finalized its deal to reacquire the rights from NBC to broadcast the 2026 Big Ten title game, sources told on 3. NBC received between $45 million and $55 million from Fox for the Big Ten title game. The Wall Street Journal reported NBC will also received one additional Big Ten game this season from Fox, sources said. John Miller, President Acquisitions and Partnerships for NBC Sports, told Puck's John Oron that NBC had interest from streamers. The streamers wanted in on the Big Ten championship games, but Fox said no. In our contract, we get the first refusal, and we want it. We're going to take it. NBC's only option was to televise the contest if Fox didn't buy it back. And Fox bought it back. Miller also told Oron, the Fox guy said, we'd like to take the Big Ten championship game back if you're open to it. However, NBC had no authority to keep Fox from buying back the game if Fox wanted it. And Fox wanted it. Fox will now own the rights to the Big Ten championship game in 5 of the 7 years under its current agreement with the conference that runs through the 2030s. CBS has the rights to the other 2 Big Ten title games in that span. And finally, in the article, the 2025 Big Ten title game between the Hoosiers and the Buckeyes was the 6th most watched college football game last season, drawing an average of 18.3 million viewers to Fox. It was the most watched game of the conference championship weekend, surpassing the SEC title game between the Georgia Bulldogs and the Alabama Crimson Tide by nearly 1.5 million viewers. So there it is, ladies and gentlemen. Fox wanted it. They wanted it back, and they got it back. Now, this might be the last championship game ever played here in 2026. I don't know. Maybe yes, maybe no. I do not know. Kalen DeBoer. The big news. Alabama head coach Kalen DeBoer given a 7-year extension with his salary now at $12.5 million annually. Andy Staples seen some confusion on the new DeBoer deal. The new buyout language is if he leaves for another job, not if he loses his job by getting fired without cause. The language for the buyout if he's fired remains the same. So Alabama did not get a discount on that. That buyout would be 90% of the remaining compensation on the deal. No offset either. So, look, this is Alabama going all in on Kalen DeBoer. This was not a give and take. This was not a compromise. Kalen DeBoer got a set. He got more money, way more money. 20-8. First 2 seasons, 20-8. Now, I will say this. I like Kalen DeBoer. I think he can coach. He absolutely can coach. I like Kalen DeBoer. All right? So don't get it twisted. I do have them finishing in 6th, with Alabama close on their heels. But the spring football under Kalen DeBoer in Tuscaloosa has been quite interesting this year. I will admit that. Keelan Russell, the quarterback, who's in that competition versus Austin Mack. Mr. Russell has looked really good from national reporters and local reporters who have watched them play. And he looks like the typical quarterback that Kalen DeBoer loves to have, because Kalen DeBoer likes to have that offense like the 1983, 1980 Oakland Raiders, where Jim Plunkett would throw bombs, stretch the ball downfield. They did not They did not care about Jim Plunkett's completion percentage. They just wanted him to throw those bombs and then run that football, rely on their defense, but stretch that defense out, throw the bomb to Cliff Branch, find Fred Blitnikoff on a slant. These you young people probably don't understand any of this. But what I'm saying is that's the offense that Kalen DeBoer runs. That's what he ran at Washington. Max protection, have your quarterback do 5-step drops, 7-step drops, and unload it. Michael Penix, Washington, and maybe they have that quarterback now at Alabama. So, I might have to readjust my thinking in August with Alabama. Kalen DeBoer, Alabama is all in on Kalen DeBoer. All in on Kalen DeBoer. All right. Now let's get to the playoff updates. Before we get to the playoff update situation, the biggest story we have on tonight's show. Hammer Hennison, we've got a super chat. $2 holler. I do declare Michigan will retain the brown jug. I can't take that because that's the chalk. There has to be some level of boldness for me to give you a 1-point valuation. A little bit more boldness gets a 2. A little bit more gets a 3. A little bit more gets a 4. An outrageous 1 gets a 5. It's a little bit of an art, a little bit of a science, all mixed up. But Michigan is going to be favored to retain the brown jug. I cannot put chalks because then everybody will go to the chalks and just do chalks to build up their valuation points. You've got to be a little bit of an underdog to get it right, even as a 1-point valuation. Or it's got to be at least 50-50. Now, again, I believe that the Golden Gophers are going to wipe the Michigan Wolverines right off the football field in Ann Arbor. But the supposed experts in Vegas is going to have Michigan as the favorite. So Hammer Hennison, thank you for the $2 holler. I very much appreciate it. But I can't accept that I do declare. I got to protect everybody else's I do declares. We can't let the chalks coming on in. Because a lot of people are putting up a lot of bold I do declares out there. All right. But thank you, Hammer Hennison. Thank you for your support. I very much appreciate it. Now, this one I can accept. I do declare Noah Berman I do declare Dante Moore will win the Heisman. Now, it's going to be a valuation of 1 or maybe 2 because Dante Moore is going to be one of the top 3 or 4 favorites. He's going to be a heavy chalk to get to New York City. So it's going to be a 1, it's going to be a 2, but it's acceptable because he's obviously, going into the season to declare anybody, and I do declare and anybody winning the Heisman, it's less than 50-50. So I'm going to accept that as a 1 or a 2. Noah Berman, thank you so much for the $2 holler. I appreciate it very much. Rod Nix, that is a formidable offensive package Houston is rolling out there. Absolutely. 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 I agree. All right. Okay, so let's get to the big story. Playoff update. Here is the title screen for our live show tonight on April 22nd. The SEC silo meeting. That domino looks like it's the first domino that's got to fall and then it's going to collide in the CFP format decision, and then that's going to collide in the realignment domino. Now, there are other bigger dominoes behind the SEC silo meeting. There's this big domino called the SCORE Act. The SCORE Act passing or the SCORE Act not passing. And those big dominoes are going to send the other dominoes in one direction or the other. But again, I can't have too much stuff in these AI pictures, because if I give them too much of what is circling around in my brain, AI basically gives up. So this is the best that I could do. SEC silo meeting, CFP format decision domino in front of the SEC silo meeting domino, and then realignment. One collides into the other, collides into the other. And I could have had Notre Dame, smaller domino, North Carolina, smaller domino, Miami, smaller domino in front of the realignment domino. But again, too much information for artificial intelligence. The fat guy from Minnesota's brain is just a little bit too much for AI. Just a little bit too much. Okay, so what are we talking about here? What are we talking about here, Greg? What's going on, Greg? Great. Ari Wasserman, update. Remember, they had their meeting in Dallas, Texas today. College football playoff meeting wrapped with no consensus on the future format. Apparently, it was a good, robust conversation. All right. It's what we expected. We expected no decision. I think it was basically impossible to have a decision today. Heather Dinich reports college football playoff executive director Rich Clark is expected to speak with reporters here soon, and he did, and we're going to get on that. The CFP spring meetings have ended, and as expected, no decision was made on the future format. MAC Commissioner John Steinbrecher said it was a good, robust conversation, but there is no consensus on the 16 or 24 teams. They are expected to talk about it again at a June meeting in Denver. June meeting in Denver. In Denver, in the month of June, a month after the SEC meetings in May, which we know they're going to talk about the possible breakaway and going into their own silos. How extreme that is going to be, we do not know, but we're keeping an eye on the story. So the next time they have an official, formal discussion on the playoffs is going to be June in Denver. But we've got the SEC meetings in May. And I got a feeling that the SEC, Greg Sankey, and the presidents were not going to be okay with any playoff decisions until they have their own meeting in the month of May, once they have more information on the passage or not passage of the SCORE Act. Ross Dellinger. College football playoff director Rich Clark said college football playoff expansion discussions today were healthy, but he's uncertain. He's uncertain an agreement will be reached by December 1st, the deadline for a change to be implemented for 2027. He's uncertain here in April if they can get a decision done by December 1st. Interesting comment from him. The regular season is king. Is that a shot at the 2014 playoff? Is that a shot at the 2014 playoff? It shouldn't be. It shouldn't be. Big Ten commissioner, Silent Tony, left without speaking to reporters. Silent Tony. Silent Tony. Silent Tony. He walked out without speaking to reporters, but Greg Sankey, of course Greg Sankey was going to talk. SEC Commissioner Chris Vanini reported Greg Sankey did speak to us, referring to his past comments about the league's support for a 16-team field. Sankey wouldn't reveal what was said in the room today. The discussions are ongoing. Ross Dellinger, Greg Sankey today acknowledged the CFP expansion discussions that unfolded last week in the presidential committee call. He was not on that call, where P4 decision makers supported a 24-team field. Ross Dellinger, why is that notable? 3 months ago, many of them publicly supported the 16. 24-team playoff, the army of 24. We still have the momentum. Ross Dellinger, Sankey on the fact that an outside committee originating through the White House is discussing college football playoff expansion. Sankey says a lot of people are involved and they have interest. College sports is an interesting topic. But after all of that, the following statement is the most interesting one of them all. Heather Dinich, college football playoff executive director Rich Clark, said, "It's not unrealistic that the CFP could figure out a way to do a 16 or a 24-team field. It's not unrealistic. We can figure this out. 16 or 24. We can figure out the 24. We could figure out ways to make it happen," he said. "But what are the give and takes that you have to make it happen? Something has to give." Read that over again. I'm going to give you guys 10 seconds to read that over again. It can happen, but there's got to be a give and take. There's got to be a give and a take to make it happen. Something has to give. I'm going to tell you, look, we have reported this. We reported this a couple of weeks ago. We have talked about this the last few days here at Peek Around the Corner. We have been told the following, that there are people in the Southeastern Conference that are supporting the 2014 playoffs and would support the AQs, but the SEC's got to get more than 4. I mean, they got to get more than the Big 12 and the ACC at least. The SEC has to protect themselves because they might go in that silo. So, now this hasn't been reported publicly, but we believe, oh boy. It's not like, at least what we were told, it wasn't. There is a little faction in the SEC that is looking back at AQs and kind of agreeing with the Big Ten. But they're not going to settle for the 4-4-4-4-4-4-4-4-2-6. Because they went to 9 conference games. They don't trust nobody. And if they go in their silos and do their own governance and their own rules, and they're going to do this 24, if they're going to do the 20, if the Southeastern Conference is going to do the 24, if they're going to acquiesce to the Big 10 and to the Big 12 and to the ACC, you're going to have to give the Southeastern Conference something in return. And the Big Ten, the Big Ten has already felt like they've acquiesced. I mean, they've already done. They wanted 8 Qs. They wanted the possibility of having play-in games at the end of the season to see who qualifies for the Big Ten. They have jumped those AQ numbers around. First it was 4-4-2-2-1-3. But now it's 4-4-4-4-2-6. And then the Big Ten says, okay, enough with the AQs. But we want the 2014 playoffs, so we'll have a 23 or all 24 at-large teams. But I'm saying, but I'm saying that there is this faction in the Southeastern Conference that wants the 24 and they want the AQs. They want that built in, okay, if we finish in the top 4, top 5, top 6 in the SEC, we're in. We're playing this massively tough schedule. We got 9 conference games. We're not getting any of the benefits of going to that 9 conference games, but they would if they go to the 2014 playoffs and they get slotted, they get allotted more AQs than the Big 12 and the ACC and the G6. And possibly even more than the Big 10. I mean, again, go back to Heather Dinich reporting on what Rich Clark is saying. If we could figure out ways to make it happen. But what are the give and the takes that you have to make it happen? Something has to give. Look, the Big Ten has been given all over the place. The only thing that the Big Ten hasn't moved off of is the number 24. It was 20 or 24. And now people have latched on to 24. But the Big Ten is throwing out all different options on AQs or no AQs. So they're waiting for the Southeastern Conference to say, what the hell do you want to get from 16 to 24? What the hell do you want? And I think we're going to get an answer. And I think it's going to come out in public. And I think that answer is going to be, well, if we're going to go 24, if we're going to allow more teams in, this is all screwed up. My apologies. If we're going to allow more teams in, if we're going to do this thing, if us, the Southeastern Conference, if you want us to acquiesce, if you don't, we're looking to break away. We're going to talk about it in May. Before that June meeting in Denver, Colorado, we're going to have our own meeting, SEC meeting, in this great state of Florida. And we're going to be talking about silo. We're talking about breakaway. We can't get our act together. We want eligibility rules. We want to increase our scholarships. We want to increase our coaching staffs. We want to do things that you knuckleheads will not allow us to do here in the Southeastern Conference. We want to go our own. We're going to go our own way. You want us to join in this kumbaya, in this circus that Tony Petitti, this 2014, you want us to join the circus? Are you, okay, if we do that, get rid of the clowns, get rid of everything but the big old elephants in the circus. And that elephant needs a whole lot of space. We're going to join the 2014 playoffs. Well, it's a give and take, like Richard Clark said. And we want more. We want more of the distribution money. Forget about the 2014 playoffs, that's 23 playoff games. 23 playoff games. All right? 23 playoff games. We still wanted 29% of that cut. And one more thing. And this gets us back to the picture. This gets us back to this. We're talking about that SEC silo, right? That first domino, right? That second domino, CFP format decision. That's the one we're talking about right now. But that third domino, realignment domino. The Southeastern Conference is looking to expand. Offensively, defensively, they're going to expand. They want to expand the footprint. They're looking to expand. If the economic conditions are correct, if we get some planes landing, if we get the SCORE Act land, if we get all these things going on here, we're going to expand. The SEC is not making decisions. You know what? I'm not going to go. I'm going to take that back. The Southeastern Conference, if they go to the 24, they want something in return. Now, you tell me what they want. You tell me what they want. Look, if they go to 24, ESPN, are they going to be guaranteed more than 2 other additional playoff games? Are they going to go from, they already got 11, they've got all 11, and they're guaranteed, 2 more if it goes to 2014 playoffs, but there's still 10 out there. Does ESPN get a little bit more? So there's only 8, there's only 6 playoff games that goes to open bidders? Is that the give and take? Is it a Fox, ESPN using the proxy war, Big Ten and SEC? Does ESPN need to get a little bit more? Put their beaks in a little bit more? Probably. But what is the give and take? ESPN, Fox, Amazon wants in. Netflix probably wants in. Paramount, CBS probably wants in the playoff bidding. What else is the give and take? The SEC is going to make sure they get something out of the deal for them to move to 24. Now, the question is, if the Big Ten decides, okay, we're going to acquiesce and go to 6, go, fine. We'll agree to 16. But then what is the Big Ten going to get? They're going to get something out of it if we stick at 16 and not go to 24. But I don't think that's... I think we're going to get to 24, and the Southeastern Conference is going to make sure they get something out of this. This is where I believe things are heading. This is where I truly believe things are heading. Unfortunately, I don't think we're going to be looking at a 4-4-4-4-2-6. Now, we might be getting that 23 plus 1 or 24 at large, 23 at large plus G6, top G6 school. But in that, if we're getting that, the Southeastern Conference is going to make sure that ESPN is handled correctly in this, that they're going to get money, distribution money. Something has got to be given to the Southeastern Conference for the 2014 playoff to happen. That is what I believe. We were told a couple of weeks ago that the SEC, there's this faction that is pushing for AQs, but not equal AQs. More and more drama is coming in the college football landscape. And we're going to cover it all here at Peek Around the Corner. If you're new here, if you're going to be true here, please subscribe to the channel, smash the like button, and ring that notification bell. And we just got a big time, massive super chat. Holy smokes. Oh, wow. Wow. Vox Quindaro. I do declare Nico Quindaro is a Down syndrome 3-year-old, and this is for him to add to the pile. Whew. Should have given me a warning on that. May God bless you all. Thank you, Vox. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much for your generosity. Thank you so very much. And yes, God bless you all. God bless Nico. Thank you, Vox. Appreciate it. Wow, you didn't have to do that. Thank you for your incredible generosity. Woo! Okay. Wow. Wow. Thank you, Vox. Yes. Thank you, Nico, for giving us a great example. Thank you, Nico. Appreciate it. My goodness. Thank you, Vox. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Good guy, Vox. Yep. I was not Vox. You got to give me a little bit of a heads up there. But I appreciate it. I'm kidding, of course. Thank you very much, sir. Unbelievable, Vox Quindaro. Unbelievable. Yeah, Nico's the champ. No question about it. Nico's the champ. Absolutely. Absolutely. The so-called least of us is the best of us. Yeah. Okay. Let me get back to let me get back for you. Let's get back to you guys telling me how wrong I got it once again in everything that I have said in this live show. The SEC is going to want 66332 plus 4. They're going to want something, ladies and gentlemen. They're going to want something. And there are a few people, we know there are some people that want something like that. But maybe they can't. Maybe they know. Eventually, that Southeastern Conference meeting in May is going to be wild. It's going to be absolutely wild. We're going to cover it all here at Peek Around the Corner. And we know there is a little faction that is looking at that. They want to proceed and talk about that once again. But it ain't going to be equal. It's not going to be equal because it just isn't. So, I don't know. Guys, buckle up and brace for impact. Buckle up and brace for impact. So the Southeastern Conference needs to save face. Absolutely classy. Absolutely. Yep. 10-10-1-1-1-1. Tough Tony. 8 AQs for the SCC, and Sankey says yes. Kenneth Maynard. Yeah. ESPN is now so hot to expand to 24. Absolutely. Yep. That's what I'm saying, the give and the take. Because ESPN is only guaranteed 2 more playoff games. If we go to 24 teams, we're going from 11 playoff games to 23 playoff games. And ESPN is only guaranteed number 12 and number 13. There would be 10 playoff games that would go to the open market for bid. And this is a dog-eat-dog world here. ESPN knows that the college football playoffs, to show a college football playoff, they don't want anybody infringing on their space, not before this 2031 CFP contract is over with. They don't want these other networks to get this. So maybe the give and the take is ESPN gets a few more games, even more than the 2, and they don't have to do this. They don't have to have them open up for open bidding. That is one idea that is being thrown around. Okay, guys, normally I would have this open up for phone calls. But unfortunately, look, Wednesdays are are the most difficult days for me to have a live show. Usually we have them at noon or at 1 o'clock in the afternoon Central Time. Sometimes at 2, sometimes at 3. But I'm not able, usually I'm on the road on Wednesday nights. I'm taking the little general to here and there, Bible study and meetings and stuff. But now that I'm not the primary caretaker of my mother, I'm able to sometimes get here back on a late Wednesday and do about an hour and a half show. And the hour and a half is up. And I got to get back on the road to pick up the little general. So I'm not going to be able to take phone calls tonight. I do apologize for that. But tomorrow, the birthday show for yours truly, maybe we'll open it up to phone lines to begin the show. Maybe we'll do something a little bit different. And that show is going to be earlier than usual because I do have to be the primary caretaker in the evening tomorrow for my mother. But anyways, so tonight, this Wednesday show was at a time that we usually don't do Wednesday shows, and tomorrow's going to be earlier than usual. So maybe we'll open up the live show tomorrow for some phone calls. Again, we are sitting in very dramatic times. We're going to have no problem with college football content. We are doing the Spotlight series. Today we did the Houston Cougars. Today we did the Houston Cougars. And I think they are stacked on offense. And I think they're going to be pretty good on defense. I'm a little worried about that road schedule, that Big 12 conference road schedule that the Houston Cougars are going to have to overcome to get to the Big 12 championship game. We talked about Fox reclaiming the Big 10 championship game that NBC had. And we talked about the playoff update. Buckle up and brace for impact. More on that. And Kalen DeBoer, 7-year extension, more money, but no discount on the buyout. So Alabama is all in on Kalen DeBoer. Before you leave, please subscribe to our channel. Smash the like button if you've liked our content today. And share the video with your family and friends. Until next time, which is going to be tomorrow. Tomorrow, April 23rd, 1968. The best day in the history of this blue planet that we call Earth. Until next time, from all of us, please, you all take great care of each other. Thank you so very much. And as always, God family, and golden